Hello, all. Wildcrafty coming at you from Wildcrafty's Wired World, and I would like to thank everybody for joining this tonight. I just want to be sure that my audio sounds okay. Um, awesome. All right. Just our. This stream is a new series, as you guys can see. It's going to be it's designed around you guys for you to bring your technical questions to the stream, and I will answer them as best I can. Um, so it's going to be how long it's going each stream is going to be depends entirely on you guys, depending on how many technical questions I am answering. But during the streams as well, I am also going to present news about the channel. And tonight, I do want to mention a couple things. First is that and you guys can feel free to throw in any questions you may have at any point. I'm going to continuously keep an eye on chat, and if anything pops up, I will certainly break from what I'm talking about and answer it. But uh, the first thing that I would like to mention is that my channel is going to be featuring what's called Wuggets. And obviously that's a bit of a play on words for nuggets, but essentially what they are is they're going to be very shorter videos that just give you a brief introduction of of a topic, a tech topic of sorts. It could be anywhere from how to the multiple ways to copy and paste a file from in Windows to how to uninstall an app or do maintenance on your Android phone or Android iOS phone to uh, anything networking and internet related. But they're going to be shorter on the shorter side. I would say no longer than 10 maximum of 10 minutes. Most of them probably not even that. There is one now available to watch it's on DHCP. It is there is listed under a playlist called Crofty's Wild World Wuggets on my channel, so you can go check that out when you have a chance. Um, and yeah, well, shorter videos are certainly easier to make. That is on fire. That is for sure. Um, so I will, and I definitely don't mind throwing out shorter videos. I actually might probably be able to get a few more out per maybe a couple even per day. If I really work on it. So I'm okay with shorter videos. But that brings me to my next point. And like as I said, if you guys do have any questions at any point, just throw them in chat. But I am now also on. I should say, Crofty's Wired World is now also on Patreon, and there are benefits for anybody that chooses to become a patron and support me every month. There are three levels of participation that you can elect. First one is called Basic. It is a $2 a month option. It gives you access to the Wildcrafty's Wired World Discord channel. where you guys can join and become a part of the community and chat with other members. You can also post your tech-related questions there as well. And as quickly as I can, I will certainly get you an answer. There is a $5 a month option, and that gives you access. In addition to the Discord, that gives you access to a all access section for on YouTube. It's a private play or unlisted private playlist that you will be provided with a link, and I'm going to put up there all my tutorial video series. For instance, I have plans to do a complete tutorial on Windows 2000, so that'll be up there. You will have unlimited and unrestricted access to this video series and tutorial series like that. That's going to be an advantage over the public playlists in my public channel, because that's only going to feature select excerpts and select episodes from all those video series, or once I create them, produce them, and post them. And then finally, there is a $15 a month tier, and that actually gives you the ability to request any of my tutorial series, whether it be the full-length tutorials that I will soon be working on, or even series of the Wuggets. But you'll be able to contact me and actually place an order for a DVD, custom DVD containing whatever whatever videos and that you might want. So there's definitely a lot of exciting things that are going to be happening on the channel. I am certainly going to try to roll out new content as quickly as I can. As I mentioned, the Wuggets are going to be probably the most quickest updating playlists that are on the channel, just because they're shorter videos, and they might actually be well, hopefully they'll be extremely informative for you guys. I mean, it's a quick way to learn a variety of new things in the shortest amount of time, definitely. And that's the primary reason that I worked on developing them, or I'm working on developing them. Now they were also, as I said, this tech questions stream. This is going to be a regular thing, happening Friday nights at 9. And that's until and I'm planning on having another night of live streams. I'm going to make Friday nights and possibly possibly one other day. I'm not sure yet which one, but that's going to be reserved for my live streams, and then any other day during the week is a potential for a video upload to YouTube. So you guys can count on that happening. And like I said, there's a lot of. I hope that you guys will be excited about what's to come. as much as I am, I'm definitely very excited. And there's always a potential for other things, for other content to be added on the channel as well in the future. I'm not right. Pretty much so far, I've been focusing on tech. I will be, and I mentioned DJ, a little bit of game streaming, but occasionally there might be, especially with the Wuggets, there you might see other topics. You might see technology, DJ, and maybe even a little bit of like uh, how to become you know like an audio engineer or something like that, or like how to just sometimes just know, guys, that this the topics may not always be centered and focused on on just the what my channel is described to be. There might be other things. So um, that is a also an exciting prospect as well. Now I have not seen any tech questions in chat. Now this series here, it's going to be I would say a minimum of 20 minutes, unless I get, like as I mentioned before at the start, if I get a lot of tech questions and chat simply explodes with or answer this for me, then it could probably go as long as a couple hours. But um, or if I don't being as I don't see any activity from chat, if that happens, then I'm going to guess that these this each episode in this series will be around about 20 minutes. So, but yeah, that's all the up and new of what's currently there and what's going to come up on the channel. Are Now, if you guys have any questions, as always, there's multiple ways to reach me. To our Facebook, Twitter. So there's always what is what's my what do you mean by that? As far as the channel, as relating to what? Just in general, and as far I mean this series, if that our personal goal. Well, it's to pretty much just to share my knowledge of on what I know about technology with everybody I possibly can. That's pretty much all it is. Because if I want you guys to know, or to be able to feel like you have a place you can come to ask any questions that you may have. That's pretty much all I'm trying to accomplish as far as the channel. That's why it was created, and that's why that's the only reason it will continue to exist, and nothing more. So hopefully that answers your question. Cool. All right. Well, I I appreciate I appreciate it. Yep. It, I mean, honestly, you can do that. I mean, if you have any questions that you're not sure about for the answer, you can throw those at me. That'll help for sure. Or I can, our base or what I will do though is I will summarize, give you guys a little rundown of what my latest or the first Wuggets video, subject of the first Wuggets video. As I mentioned, it is DHCP, and that is for those of you who don't know, that is a standard, that is a networking basic that allows computers to obtain a IP address, computers or any devices to obtain an IP address. And yes, on fire, I did think of that. I'm still having a slight issue or technical issue with OBS and the screen capture, as you're aware of that problem. So I would do that. However, I was having a bit of a problem, getting it to work. But I was. I can. Let's bring it. I will bring it up here. See what happens. But I think you guys will enjoy it. Like I said, DHCP is just basically all devices need to have a IP address if they're going to communicate and talk on a network. And DHCP is just a simpler way to make that happen. And it's it's something where you need to, it was developed to make life easier for people that work with computers and whatnot. Okay, guys, bear with me for a minute here. I'm going to stream the first Wild Crafties Wired Wuggets here. So just give me one moment and bear with me a second. By the way, for whoever just joined, thank you for joining, and thank you for coming. If you have any tech questions, feel free to post them in chat at any time, and I will certainly do my best to answer them for you. Okay. Where to insert a floppy disk? Well, that one is certainly very 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 technical. I'm sorry, but that's going to take about 2 days to explain to you there on fire. So you know, it are. Oh, come on now. You don't want you are. Wow. Uh, Come on now. Nobody wants to play WoW anymore. Uh, what's a floppy disk? Well, I don't know. You might have seen one there. At one point there. They're they're very cutting edge technology, and they hold a full whopping 1.44 megabytes of data, and that's just a revolutionary new technology. First computer was a Commodore 64. Um, very awesome machine. You typed what you wanted or what you wanted the computer to do rather than click. There was no interface or no graphical interface, and it was a lot of fun. Although there was some, I will say though, there was some very very good games for the Commodore 64. I actually had quite a good time with doing with the okay, all right, guys. With playing the games, um, MS DOS. Yeah, I never really. That was an experience too. Never really had too many games for MS DOS. All right. I am going. Or this is. You got. Why don't you guys just sit back and relax? Okay. That's actually. That's actually our good question. The it's a matter of speed. That are that are there Argo. It is a obviously DDR5 is going to be a little bit quicker than DDR3. Therefore, the graphics card will be capable of handling a little bit more. And there's also a there's also a slight difference in I want to say capability, but which is not a good word. Obviously technology. So it's going to be DDR5 is capable of handling more. No, not even compatibility, but um, DDR5 is actually capable of actually handling more. I guess you could say more simultaneous access requests, if that makes any sense for you. Um, well, most of the most of the RAM on your most of the VRAM is actually just like RAM is actually to some extent backwards compatible. Well, okay, more. Maybe I should explain that. More processes meaning there can be the just like computer RAM. That graphics RAM is used to store what the graphics, like the graphics and the video that your graphics card is currently processing. And with newer memory and newer RAM, you actually it'll actually be able to store more, store and actually process more. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Exactly. But if you or if you put link in chat your or paste in chat your graphics card, uh, make a model, I'll actually pull up more detailed specs. Then and I'll actually be able to get you more information and help you out more. All right. Well, no, normally, well, I'm not going to say normally, but typically, when you're using like an onboard graphics card, or a graphics card that comes in a cheaper laptop, let's just say, the computer or machine is using some of the system RAM to process the graphics as well. So if you decide to get a graphics card that has dedicated RAM, what that ends up doing is freeing more RAM for your computer to use, since the system doesn't need to reserve part of it for graphics anymore, and that'll actually enhance your computer's performance and also give you better graphics and as well. All right, guys. Let's. I'm going to show my first the first Wuggets video here for you guys to enjoy. And this might only be half screen. Let's see what happens. Hey y'all, Wildcrafty from Wildcrafty's Wired World coming at you. In this Wildcrafty's Wired Wugget, we will be checking out one of the most important things when you start to understand and work with computer networks: the Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol, or I am aware DHCP. Of that. Thanks, OnFire. Hold on. Stay tuned to learn a little about DHCP and why. Technical difficulties. Should do a Wired Wugget on technical difficulties, I'm telling you. Let's see. Yeah, I know. No problem. Just appreciate you guys hanging in there and bearing with me here. Why it is so necessary in our IT world. First, let's hit up the need-to-know terms. A network is more than one device. All right. Let's see here. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. There, Argo. That's are there are in fact one phone in particular are it has incredible processing power. And that's the Asus ROG gaming phone, the Asus ROG. That thing is amazing. Um, and what mic am I using? Well, actually, I ended up using my headset mic for right now, until I can get settled with those snowballs. Device. What? Very true. Very true. They seem to distinctly run better than anything else for some reason. But I actually am using my new machine is actually a an Asus ROG 8 74, but I can't actually remember the model number right now. But it's I absolutely love it. It's amazing. It does everything I need it to do, plus a little bit. So it's it's been quite the machine. It was worth every penny that I paid for it. Galaxy Note 9. Yes, I wanna. That's my next phone. It's actually. I'm actually looking forward to getting it. But that will be a while down the road. But all right, guys. Again, I do apologize for the delay. Seem to be having still some major issues here. Let's see. Well, Dells are honestly decent machines. I'll be fair to them. I'll be fair to Dell on that. They're okay. But there are I won't own them, or I won't buy Dell. Yeah, I thought we fixed this issue too. Apparently we did not. So that being said, I'm going to continue to get this up and running here. Well, I was actually once Dell certified when I worked for my first college IT department, and we had our whole campus full of Dells. I worked for the IT help desk department as a work study, and because of what we did, I was required to get my Dell certification, which unfortunately has long since expired. Um, but I will say that I found Dells to be one of the easiest and most straightforwardly laid out computers to work on. I don't know if they are still that way, but I always did enjoy working on Dells just because they were very, 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 very easy to work on once you got them open. Well, you know, the thing that Dell has going for them now is the fact that they bought Alienware. So that's that kind of helped their gaming lineup quite sufficiently. All right, guys, I believe I finally got this. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the first WWW Wugget video here. Hey y'all, Wildcrafty from Wildcrafty's Wired World coming at ya. In this Wildcrafty's Wired Wugget, we will be checking out one of the most important things when you start to understand and work with computer networks, the Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol, or DHCP. Stay tuned to learn a little about DHCP and why it is so necessary in our IT world. First, let's hit up the need-to-know terms. A network is more than one device, whatever that may be, that can talk to each other in order to send files, transfer your messages, etc. In order to do this, every new thing that joins a network must be using a different Internet Protocol address. This number, as that's what it is essentially, identifies each device on the network, just as a mailing address signifies how mail is sorted and delivered. It is a number, guys. Consequently, that's all it is. No two devices can use the same IP address. There are two ways in which devices can get an IP address: statically and dynamically. A static configuration means that each thing must be set up manually with a unique IP address. With dynamic addressing using DHCP, however, addressing is done automatically the first time a device connects to the network. So, which would you prefer? DHCP, though. How does this work? Well, on each network that uses DHCP, there is a dedicated server or a device such as a router or a switch. So, that's all for now. If you have any questions about DHCP, I will be releasing an entire video devoted to it soon, so be sure to look out for that. Also, you may hit me up on social media if you have any tech-related questions or if you would like to suggest content. The links are in the description. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy what you see, as this helps me out tremendously. Also, support me on Patreon if you can. For just $2 a month, you can help me create bigger and better content, and you will receive access to exclusive perks. Later all, and remember, stay wired. All right, guys. So there you have it. It is that is Wildcrafty's Wired Wugget. And like I said, most of them are going to be that short. So it's just a real quick lesson, and gets right to the skips all the crazy stuff, I guess you'd say, and gets right to the point of the matter. That's a few standard desktops that still have bigger towers. No. Yes, I know. About the companies dropping the bigger towers, and that is for sure. In fact, most companies now are going with what they call thin clients. They don't even have a lot of them don't even have Windows installed on the local machine or local hard drive. It's all over the network. See, network that probably uses DHCP. There we go. But there's going to be a whole series, actually, or not necessarily a series, but a longer video on DHCP as well. Or that's going to be coming to the channel. So if there was anything in there you didn't understand, throw it in chat, and we'll talk about it. But just getting back to the whole companies ditching the bigger machines for the smaller. A lot of them don't even have any viewpoint, or like they don't even have the capability of running an operating system locally. A lot of them don't have an operating system, and they don't have the capability. They just run off the network. It's pretty crazy. Well, if you guys don't have anything else, that is all I have for you guys this evening. Okay. Oh, good question. Okay. Well, most devices are configured to use DHCP out of the box. Your phone has a like, for instance, your phone definitely is. And I will quickly show you in Windows how to check, or a quick way to check that. But if you have if you have multiple devices, then and you didn't have to do anything to get them working on the wireless network, then they are all set, are they're set to DHCP automatically. Because if they weren't running DHCP, you would have to have had set up an IP address for them. But I will show you real quickly here what how to tell if a or in Windows 10 whether a machine is using DHCP or not. Okay, so just to let you give guys a little quick tutorial here as well. If you go in Control Panel, if you in Windows 10 you'll have to search Control Panel. But once you bring up Control Panel, you want to go to Network and Sharing Settings here. And then this here will look different depending on your network. A couple things depending on what your network is, and also whether you're running the machine, whether the machine's on a domain or not. As you can see here, mine is. This is my home domain. But what you're very interested in is this change adapter settings right here. So you would click that, and then this brings up your list of all your network cards on your computer. And this, so you would select your either your Wi-Fi, or in this case I'm running wired, so that you select you would right click on your appropriate connection here, click on Properties, then you would select from this window that pops up Internet Protocol version 4, TCP/IP version 4. You click on Properties, and then right here, if both of these are checked, then that means that your computer is set to use DHCP, which most times this is what you will see. If for some reason the second option here, use the following IP address, is checked, or selected, and then there's actually numbers in these text fields here, text boxes, then it is set to use. It is set for static and not to use DHCP. But this is one of the easiest ways to tell. But most times, as I said, you will see, or you will discover that your devices are set to automatically use DHCP, because it is a standard, and it's not. It's very easy to use. Anybody can, pick up a internet router from Best Buy or Amazon or wherever, plug it in, and it's out of the box configured to assign or act as one of those dedicated devices that was mentioned in Wuggets, and that serves as a DHCP server. But it's pretty much plug and play for networking, is basically what PHP is. DHCP, excuse me. Correct. Yes. Because, and the reason for that, Argo, is because if your IP changes, then any external devices or devices outside your network that were using that that were connected to that machine or that computer, whatever it might be, they will lose connection. And with dynamic, you would have to keep changing on your devices. Yes, true. But the another problem with what they call dynamic DNS, which is what most home internet providers use, is a lot of the time, if you don't use a static IP or use a program to keep your because there's two different types of IP addresses. There's your LAN IP, and then there's your WAN IP. And your WAN IP is what is the only thing that computers from the outside that computers that accessing your network from the outside, that's the only thing that they see. For example, that's the only when you're browsing the internet, the internet only sees your cable modems or your DSL modems IP address. It does not see. You guys might be familiar with the IP addresses of 192.168.2 or .1, etc., etc. Well, the internet never sees your IP, those addresses. It only sees your modem's internet WAN address. So, but with home, the problem is with home internet connections and connections that aren't specifically designed for business, that changes. Your ISP will actually change your WAN IP address occasionally, and that with your back to what you were saying about port forwarding and addresses being static. If you don't have, or if you're trying to run a website or a web server or some kind of server through using your home internet connection, you're going to end up where that IP is eventually that WAN IP provided by your ISP is eventually going to change. So although it is better to use a static address, because because devices outside can lose connection with it, you may not have that option if you're using a home internet connection. And sometimes you won't, if you're outside of the network, and you're trying to say you have a web server and you're trying to access it, you're trying to log into it or access the web page, from it. If you have a static or if you have a dynamic IP, and the address changes and you don't have any way to update it, then you may not even be able to find out. Most of the time, you won't be able to find out what it is unless, to change it or to update it. You won't be able to discover the new address unless you're actually are inside that network. So, yes, static IP is better because dynamic, you can actually lose connectivity with the network, and sometimes permanently if you're never able to get inside or get access to a device on that network and find out what your new IP is. As far as dynamic being better for security, yes it is, because obviously if a hacker did manage to get your WAN IP, and then within probably a week or a couple days, it depends on your ISP how often it changes your IP. Within a couple days, then he is not going to be able to gain access to your to the inside of your network anymore because it changed. So yes, it is better for security. And yeah, usually Argo, the IPs that routers use are in the range of either 192.168.1, 192.168.2, or 10.0.0. Yes, so that is correct. So you will probably see in your router 10.0.0.1, 10.0.0.2, depending on however many devices you have on your network. But that is a very common IP, what they call local IP addressing scheme using 10.0.0.1. So there, as you can hear, guys, there's a lot of potential future content that you could see on the channel, because networking is a extremely complex animal, if you will, and I could do 500 videos and probably not even do it justice. So there is certainly a lot to cover. Oh, I'm glad. And please keep the questions coming. This is perfect. This is awesome. This is the type of thing I want to see happen on this live stream. But now, just to let you guys know, in addition to the let's just say private or DHCP, and this is going to be a future WGET that's going to be uploaded, but there are, I'm sure that you have seen that there's or might have heard of a work group or a domain. Well, a work group is typically what you're going to find in your house. That's where it has a router, a computer, or a couple computers, a smartphone or a tablet here or there, and it are basically those devices can share files and communicate with each other, not just with the internet. Like for instance, you might see a basic work group set up in a very, very small office, although nowadays that's very rare. But it basically it's a network setup where you don't need any special dedicated hardware necessarily to share files. No, you don't necessarily have to set it up manually. I mean, for instance, like you can. There are now. Here's the thing: if you want to share files, you do have to enable folder sharing, or you do have to share a folder. But in our, just our, which is that's something that's very, very simple to do. Just show you real quick. If you go, let's say you have a folder on one of your drives called, let's just create one. Let's just call it good stuff, for lack of a better term. So you want to share the good stuff. So what you do is you would, say there's a lot of stuff, you have a lot of other stuff in the good stuff folder. So it is, again, this is Windows 10, and it's very similar to 7 or even XP. But because I know, and I know On Fire absolutely loves Windows 10, so he should really enjoy this. But you would right click on it, and then there's an option that says Give Access To. So you are, and then the specific. See, I know you did. I know On Fire that you absolutely love. Oh, come on now. This is very, very educational. You might miss important details here. But so you would click specific people from the submenu that pops up, and then what you'd want to do for very simple sharing is where it says type a name and then click add here. You would type everyone and then add. And then what that would and then there's a permission level. So you would change that to either read or read and write. So and then obviously what each of them gives you the ability to do is pretty obvious, but you would set the permission level desired, and then you would click share, and then you would be able to access that folder from any other machine on the network. And that's right. That's your most basic work group sharing right there. So that's then that's a work group. Now a domain is a little bit more. It's a work group in its fundamental form, but there's a little bit more. But domain uses a dedicated server for one. That's what this is what you find in most businesses, and there's a few other differences as well. For instance, when you're on a workgroup computer, when you log in, that your username and password has to be stored on that machine, on that computer. So if you go to another computer, you also have to have a username and password stored on that computer. That's with a workgroup. With a domain, that is not and a server, that is not necessary. You can go to any computer on that domain and use the same username and password to get access to the system, because your username and password is not stored on that local computer. It's actually stored on the server. So essentially, in the most basic and rudimentary way, that's the difference between a domain and a work group. And as I said, there's going to be a Wugget uploaded very soon about that, and also and also available to the premium or to the my Patreon supporters. There is going to be an entire video series I am releasing on the All Access playlist about Windows Server 2012, starting from the very basic and fundamentals to, like how to install it, what it is, all the way through configuration of every aspect of the operating system, all the way up into best practices for how to manage and how to administer a network. So that's going to be a very exciting series. But like I said, that's going to be available to my Patreon supporters who who are on the second tier, the all access tier, or if you're not a supporter and you're interested, let me know. And I can actually, once it's complete, I can actually, or you can actually order a DVD copy of that entire series. And there's going to be other series as well, similar to that. I'm going to have a Windows, like a Windows 7 series, a Windows 10 series, a series about, fundamentals of being a DJ. Like there's going to be a lot of premium content that I'm going to be making available. So it's all going to be very exciting. So Argo, do you have any more questions at the moment? Just throw them up there in the chat, and I will give you the best answer. It's going to be. I hope it's very interesting, for sure. I hope it's going to be very helpful to everybody. So it's but it's not going to be available immediately, obviously. But notice our announcements will be made as to when, before it's released to you guys, and therefore become available. Well, if nobody else has any other questions that are for tonight, I want to thank you all for tuning in, and to the stream, showing your support, and I definitely will be back with more content very, very soon. So just keep an eye on Wildcrafty's Wild World YouTube channel for that. And I will certainly be back here next Friday at 9 for another open mic or open session with your tech questions answered, where you can bring your most baffling technology questions and get them answered. Get them answered live on the air, and you will be you could feel free to ask as many as you want, and hopefully you leave the stream with something you didn't know. So thank you guys, for everybody that tuned in, and hope you guys have take care, have a very good night, and this is Wildcrafty, Matthew Croft from Wildcrafty's our Wired World, signing off. Good night, everybody.